A mighty fortress is our God, a bulwark never failing, our helper he amid the flood of mortals' ills prevailing. For still our ancient foe doth seek to work us woe. His craft and power are great, and armed with cruel hate. On earth is not his equal. Did we in our strength confide, our striving would be losing. Were not the right one on our side, the man of God's own choosing. Just ask us who that may be. Christ Jesus, it is he. Lord Sabbath in his name, from age to age the same. And he must win the battle. Last verse. And though his world has evil filled, should threaten to undo us still, we will not fear, for God hath willed his truth to triumph through us. Let goods and kindred go, this mortal life also, the body they may kill. God's truth abideth still. His kingdom is forever. Pardon me. A mighty fortress is our God, a mighty place that has walls, which is, of course, bulwark, and it's built to keep out attacks, people, something that now gives protection or support. So you may feel that life is going to shit and life is going to hell. And there is something really mighty that is out there that you can acknowledge. And that's there's a fortress. That fortress is not a physical wall, okay, a bulwark. But that fortress is God. That wall is God. And it's never failing. This fortress, this protection you have, you might want to call it a pink bubble, what have you, for new thought Christianity. But it is a helper, this fortress, amid the flood. The fortress is like a dam. So when things are being flooded into you, might be a sewage, right? And it's crapping on you. You have a helper. That helper is a fortress. It's God. And you're mortal, you're human, and there's ills that will prevail, that will rule. The Beatles said that aging is a drag. And that flood might be you dealing with aging. Okay, it could be any metaphor even, any mythological archetype. There is an ancient attack on humanity. We've always had trouble. We've always had self-doubt. We've always had floods. We've had heartache. We've had aging. And it seeks to this day to work your ass off. It is so painful that it works your ass off so hard that you go to a cock penetrating your ass, and because your ass is in pain so much already and you're being penetrated and the cock is painful, you don't even feel the pain because you're what? You're numb. You're desynthesized. Right? We need a reality check, people. Right? No matter how blessed you are with wealth, your ego gets you ahead. And you know better to have certain attachments versus not having specific attachments, maybe toward cock or people that are going to try to hurt you. There is a craft to all these negative energies. It's a science. It's very intricately done, year after year after year after year. This is the way you might be feeling. You're going down an escalator, down steps. Because the craft is so powerful and great. And it's armed. These powers that be. We're talking toxic, low vibration on Earth. Okay. It's pretty armed. It has its own fortress. That's why you can't fight it all the time. And it seems like it's a no-win. And it's armed with this cruelty. It has hate. And many times you might find other people or even yourself resolving your difficulty using hate. You're just expressing yourself, right? But it's kind of needless and unnecessary because, you know, when they go low, you go high, and love, goodness, conquers hate. And when you use hate, you don't come out really successful. You vented. You know, you express yourself. You know, you admitted it. You know, you got it out of your mouth, and you're not going to be shamed and crippled, but, you know, you're standing up. But you might be operating with a little bit of hate. And that's because you're resonating with the cruel, crafted, armed, designed, low vibration of Earth. Whether it's because of humans doing oil spills, improper waste management in other parts of the world, not just America, whatever the reason, global climate change, in 2050 we're not going to have any water and many people are going to be moving out of California. Let's just say that's the predicament. Whatever the studies you've read, whatever social media out there has educated on what this is. You are able to have strength, people, and confide in those that you love and those that reciprocate your love. To confide in them that all this striving is all going to be for you losing at the end of the day. Because there's a lot of hate and a lot of darkness and a lot of flooding unless you have your dam set up, your fortress of God. your higher power of love. If you don't prescribe to Christian terminology using the word God or Jesus, maybe you want to translate it as Krishna because of Hindu, or Buddha because of Buddhism. Be my guest. Your higher power, your doorknob that keeps you sober from off of alcohol or heroin, or syringes in your arms, your crystal meth. You have in your own strength, you have in your brain and heart a wiring. Okay, this is your goodness and your strength to confide that the striving is going to be at your loss, at your expense. And nobody will reject you because you confide in that. Because it's truth. Whether it's because you're a former male prostitute or drug addict or what have you, you're going to have your own strength that when you confide in those that you trust, that is a losing battle for you. They won't reject you because maybe they have a fortress that they've established with you in your community, LGBT, what have you, straight, heterosexual, don't care, whatever have in your life. So you ask, if life is not right on your side, and man has a God that chose someone to come into your life to show you love, show you that strength to reawaken you, right? Make you aware, awake. These are things you already know, people. I'm not going to dumb you down and panhandle in front of the webcam like a pastor at church because it's Mafia Day and church is an expensive lonely man's club on Sunday morning. There's no sales pitch. There's just the relating this information of your mighty fortress that you know about. I'm just bringing you into that reawakening. It's just kind of ding, 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 ding. Get you back to building and fostering your consciousness according to Dr. David Hawkins, MD and PhD. Expert on letting go and surrendering your grief. So who is this example and this role model in your life? Okay? If you're not getting it from cock and culture, right? Men in the gay community. Or even leaders that aren't even gay that seem to have failed you because of their own scandal and their unawareness and not being self-actualized and enlightened, correct? And self-realized for the peace that will come once they come out of the closet in the world. No shame, no crippling, but just truth with a capital T. That's quite a fortress. Just that manifestation is quite something that will build you up and attract the right people to you and make those that are not to your advantage necessarily, but to your own highest I am, your dignity, that you will appeal to and that appeals to you. This role model is Christ Jesus. It's just something that may be Muhammad, Buddha, Dalai Lama, what have you. We're talking about Christ Jesus that got it right and they put him on the cross. And he knew what was happening. Christ wasn't a dumb guy. And that blood that he had drained on the cross was because he knows you. And he knew you from the beginning before you were even mended together. And his blood as sacrifice. When you see it, is of course love and salvation, if you have faith in it. You could put a gun to my head. It's not going to change what I know that has given many people hope, not just myself. A gun could be put to my head, blow me out. I will remain. Wait, the webcam is like frozen. So sorry. I need to get this replaced because every video portrayal and emotional dialogue is always interrupted by that. I'm so sorry. Now, this great name exists from age to age, all the way to right now. Get over it. It's history. We have ruins in Israel, all through the Holy Land is what they call it, Jerusalem, what have you. Educate yourself. You'll know what we're talking about. Don't be angry at me. Don't be a hater, please. Because whoever puts a knife to my neck or a gun to my head, that very moment I'm going to be like, I'm going to choose to love you. So don't not love people. Because when you get it, what I'm trying to speak into your life for, you then become a messenger for other people. It's really a win for you. It's a win-win for all of us. Because of our confiding and our admitting through our own strength that it's a losing battle, and the trust that we can reestablish in society. It's pivotal. What happened at the cross, in other of my teachings and lectures, I will go ahead and elaborate on what the cross is, but where they hung Jesus and killed him because he got it right. Sadly, the Jewish people kind of allowed it to happen as well. And we love the Jews. God bless them. I mean, look what's happened because of the Third Reich. Adolf Hitler. Nazism. Love the Jews. Give them a break. But they did sort of allow the king of the Jews, their own Messiah, to be murdered. So there's a lot of compassion and empathy that we have for ourselves, but also for the story of the Lord Jesus Christ, or some people call him Jesus the Christ. What happened at the cross is because he wins. Though this world is filled with evil, and it's supposed to be God's world, because he created it, it does threaten us. It tells us, pardon me, I had to put my dentures back in. It tells you that all the good that you do in your life to conquer evil and to be of love and not hate, this evil threatens you by making you self-doubt your what? Your progress, your evolution. And it threatens you by making you doubt that, and that all the good that you have done is going to be undone. Someone will shit on it. Hey, that's what the evil spirits kind of say to us. So we feel defeated. Well, yay or nay is not the matter, or the question to the subject matter, but it's that the work you do on earth is compiling a lot of good luck for you, because you're transcendent, and when you die, you go back to a light. There's so much love. I mean, educating on mercy and grace is complicated. But so we don't have to say mercy or grace if you don't understand because you're unchurched. Let's just call it love, because that's what it is. So much luck is ahead of you. So you do not have to fear, because God has a will inside you, because you are also the Son of God, the man of God's own choosing, because you have what? The Christ mind. You know this. And God's will for you, in you, through you, has the truth that love conquers all. World peace is inevitable. There's a lot of bad in people, but there's sure a lot of good. And you can choose to believe that there is more good than bad in people. And that truth triumphs through you. Those that are pissed off at Jesus this, Jesus that, like he's to be glorified, he's to be worshipped. But what about me? What about you? Your attention, your celebrity, right? Your money, your charitable work, your being recognized. What about you? It's all about you. Through Christ and the triumph and the truth that you don't have to doubt yourself, because love is there, and things that you have worked for does not need to be threatened that they will be undone. That truth is the component, because your Creator has a will, much stronger will than you have. So give Christ a break. Show some humility. You know, you're getting your recognition, right? You're getting your triumph, because it's through you that the fear does not exist, because you are a vessel of honor, and in your cranial area of your brain, you envision the light descending onto your crown, healing through your mental illness, which mental health is another word for spiritual tranquility. That's another teaching altogether. And this light heals you and goes and saturates into the heart. And your heart doesn't have to be cold and murderous and angry. Because of what? Visualization purification, or some people might call it purification visualization. Visualize. Okay, I'm just asking you to do a little bit of mind work, little mental workout. Okay, you're so into your bodies in the gay community, for God's sake, you could do a little mental workout with me on this, right? That's what we're going for. This abideth in you, exists in you already. And this kingdom that Jesus seems to own, lucky him, doesn't mean you need to be envious or jealous or covetous over that. Because it's your kingdom as well. It's all-inclusive. Jesus knew. It's the fortress. Now, let me get some notes. I'll be right back. 1 moment, please. Time out. 1 moment. Oh. That was easy. That was fast. Anyways, gentlemen. Come on, guys, let's talk about male human sexuality, right? And drifting into the fleeting and the temporal and the transitory of sex. But then you want more the next day because you're horny. Doesn't seem to always last. The desire seems to always be there, though. The desire certainly lasts. but fulfilling yourself, right? It's like a bottomless bucket in all of us, where the main ritual of your life has become sucking cock. And like I've said in teachings and lectures in our social sciences for men, there's more teaching on the miracles of the smartphone and not a lot of teaching on the miracles of Jesus Christ. And you give that, it's 2018, you give it till 2021, and you'll find in the society around you, perhaps, there'll be absolutely no teaching on any miracles of Jesus. So this is your time. Men, you get sunk in by the slong, the dick, swinging between your legs in a cock and culture society. I've created the cock and culture theory. That's another thing that I need to focus on developing through my literary works and publications and peer review articles and blah, 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 and authoring a couple of books and blah, 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 blah. There's so much work to be done. But you are sunk in by the slong that's hanging between your legs, and you're not sinking into what is between your shoulders. You know what that is? The mind. Mind of Christ and the heart of Mother Teresa, Dalai Lama, Virgin Mary. Sorry if it pissed you off I mentioned Virgin Mary, because, you know, how could she be a virgin? It's something that we all are trying to wrap our minds around. I'm with you. I'm in the corner with you, guys. Don't be a robot to your sex. You don't have to be robotic and conditioned and brainwashed and just 1 + 1 = 2. You know, there's larger numbers involved. And it's not just the basic of cock that you need to have to love. Because the heart and the mind were created to be infinity, eternal. Men hate themselves because they don't always believe that, because they have been threatened that all the good will be undone because it's all going to shit, it's all going to hell. So why not litter and why not smoke cigarettes and Tina, crystal meth, party and play, PNP, methamphetamines. Certain men out there know the drill. Chewing tobacco, causing cancer in your mouth. Alcohol binges. Prostitution. Not paying your boy what he really deserves. Not even caring if he gets an education or if he's going to be okay in the next year. You never really ever think about him ever again. It's like a hookup, a booty call, and that's it. From an application, grinder, scruff, jacked, atom for atom, you know the drill. If men love men, as they should if they claim to be gay, why are they not encouraging other men monogamy and sinking into what is between the shoulders? Mind and heart. This explains cock and culture. You can do the sociological mathematics and what that means societal. Now, moving forward. I do not enjoy, even when we talk about substance abuse, looking at it through a moral compass and saying, you know, there's a moral deficit and a loneliness of men that are leading men. They're lonely themselves. Everyone's lonely, and so there's this immoral leadership, and you're brainwashed to think that it is moral, because you have all leaders that deal with leaderless families that aren't really leading. They're not really good examples for other families that are trying to get ahead. in the heterosexual world or the gay world. We have leaderless societies, distressed societies with corrupt wealth in places like Baltimore, Maryland, and Detroit, Michigan, and miles there's crack houses, okay? And your political parties seem to fail you on all fronts. The truth, however, can be best learned when you have the integrity in yourself to say that I can cultivate the consciousness, build and foster the consciousness, as Dr. Hawkins talks about. David Hawkins, MD, PhD, I already referenced. Via self-discipline instilled in you, and love being nurtured in your community, LGBT, gay people, and the culture that you adopt as fictive kin because your family has rejected you, are values and standards which will guide your life and your family, if that's what you have, according to Gordon B. Hinckley, an ordained minister of the world leader of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Mormonism, LDS. And in your heart, okay, and the mind, and your fortress, you have safety and you have a home. It's good news to have your fortress, isn't it? Because you can be compassionate with yourself, as Sophia Dahl in Manhattan, spiritual, metaphysical guide, humanist, trained opera singer, composer, torch singer, elegant woman in New York, Manhattan. You can be compassionate, as she says, to yourself and forgive yourself. It's a little Buddhist wisdom for you, ladies and gentlemen. Read up. Do your research on world religions. Hindu, Buddha, Mormon, Christianity, New World Christ Church. So now, in the desperate heart and the desperate mind that we utilize a lot even in our careers, okay? Jealousy, and so we're desperate and pathetic, so we stab people in the back, and we work in administration and the educational system, and we indoctrinate teachers, and we lie to the teachers, and blah, 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 blah. The desperate heart in the workforce is a dying matter, and it's broken many lives, and it creates lonely hearts among leaders. And it shatters dreams. And when you look at your compulsiveness, or your impulsiveness, or your animalistic turn-ons, which might be a money hard-on or a cock without money. When it comes to cock, it doesn't matter if it's poor or rich, right, guys? Cock is cock. We say these things that might be offensive to people, correct? Because everybody's running around acting perfect, and nobody can call it what it is. And look at the terminology. That's not just visionary futurist or modern contemporary millennial, but it's true to the sugar packet sales pitch of who Christ is. Now, there's no catch. There's no sales pitch. But there is a cost. There's something that you buy when you invest in spiritual principle. Anthroposophy. Rudolf Steiner, he talks about using intuitive thinking as a spiritual path. So bear with me. We're looking at intellectualism, people. So in the desperate heart and coming out of this, it's because you have a wise heart. If you have a lonely heart right now, it's because you do have a wise heart in there. We're not here to beat you up. We're here to care for one another on all the levels that are most meaningful in human rights and social justice prevalence and democracy promotion without force. Blah, 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 blah. We cover that at Social Alchemy Project, Access Management, as well as New World Christ Church, and my artistry and my performance artwork and all this work. 1 foot on a soccer ball, men, and the other foot on a banana peel does not get you very far. You may be positioned this way because you think you're cute. I know that about myself because of my wide variance in popularity among certain LGBTQ, Q for questioning people. The topic here is you may be unlucky. You may not have gold. You know, you've been picking that up in my social media. You may not feel like a citizen of Earth because you do not have the earthly things that you see I may have. This is fleeting, temporal, and transitory. There must be a progressive compatibility between someone and another person because of the haves and have-nots. You understand this, don't you? LGBTQ community has had zero biblical support for ending the position of those Christians that are using a racist God to bring damage to gay people and to even increase hate crime. And this is a losing hope. A losing hope. But hope has no disappointments and does not come back void. So that as a fact, the lack or the deficiency of morality, it's because we, in an ethical, welcoming collective consciousness for humane life sustainability of us functioning as men in society, of the globalization of homosexuality, blah, 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 blah. I've talked about this. It's because in all of that, us men need to let the gay rights leak out. So there's progressive compatibility within haves and have-nots because we are giving luck all the time. We can give out of what we need, and we can give out of what we don't have. Pardon me, dentures in my teeth. And we can not only be compatible with the haves and have-nots by doing that and being assertive and compassionate. There's no unluckiness even if you don't even have 2 nickels to rub together. My friend talks about that in Los Angeles. We love you, Christopher Sills. Holy discontent from not resolving prejudice is the problem. I gotta handle that later, so we need to wrap it up. How fun to act like it's a very busy day of business. It's actually Memorial Day weekend. So, men, there is a bit of a time intensity going on right now. But in the center of gravity, things happening that are unpredictable or not really convenient at this moment, you deal with as well. That center of gravity is grace, love, mercy, forgiveness. No complicated dentures. No complicated legal excuse is necessary to support hating gay men, or you supporting the idea of hating yourself because you don't measure up to Tom Cruise. I mean, think about it. Or Jane Fonda. I don't care. Or the royal family. Or anything from imperial dynasties, whatever, in Asia. You just fill in the blanks, whatever works for you. To part with success and hope that doesn't disappoint, and to give it to people, to part with it. You're resilient. You have an automatic fortress, a dam that keeps the mudslides away, but allows the light over your mind to your heart with spiritual rains and blessings to exist. Tells you that hope and success does not disappoint your future, because it will always fill up your cup, so you can give selflessly and not be selfish. Feed your inner divine self via the love of Christ. Hey, if you don't know Jesus, right? Sign me up. I'm in process too. Who is Jesus? We'll learn more about that through our lectures and our talks. To love Jesus and feed your inner divine self is not a crazy thinking culture. It's sanity. It's order, opposed to disorder. The global social context here is that the most famous of all of us is Jesus Christ. And you're a friend of God. And you have a covenant on your life, because you were created and got here some freaking how, I don't know. The story goes, you know, God created man out of the dust of the earth, and he breathed spirit into man through breath. This global context and covenant, when you talk about a mighty fortress being your God, means that you have a contemporary, international, loving nature. Stop hating yourself because you adore other men in same gender or same sex. Stop hating yourself. This is not the covenantal space that we are provided. So, I'll do the first verse because we're going into God, 45 minutes of a video. And I want you to, the hymn is A Mighty Fortress is Our God. Pardon me. A Mighty Fortress is Our God. And the person that wrote this was Martin Luther. If you know it, sing with me. Sing it under your breath. Learn the song by rewinding this video so you keep the song fresh and in your memory bank. Verse 1. A mighty fortress is our God, a bulwark never failing. Our helper he amid the flood of mortal ills prevailing. For still our ancient foe, enemy, has always been around for many years, of ancient foe, yeah, doth seek to work us woe, with despair and defeat and desperation of heart. His craft and power are great, and armed with cruel hate. On earth is not his equal. The earth and the creation and the beauty and the trees and the flowers and the blossoms is not the equal of value of running around hating yourself, because you have a mighty fortress. Nothing will be undone. You may feel you take a couple steps back when things happen, but it's 5 to maybe 12 steps forward. And you will be okay, because your heart and your mind is not an empty mansion, because you have a mighty fortress. I love you. That's okay. And you can abide, have confidence in your strength, that when you confide in those that love you too, that's part of the fortress. People and people. Community. No isolating yourself in your mansion. God bless you. Always.